Hey everybody, it's Julie. Welcome to Hello Monday. Today I'm making a beautiful holiday card using this Deer Trio. I'm using one of the stags from the Deer Trio dies by Impression Obsession, and I wanted to do this inlaid wood effect. So we're going to be doing some die cutting from some wood veneer, and I wanted to use just a tag piece. So I'm going to custom cut it using my tonic guillotine trimmer. This is my favorite way to trim this paper down. I find that the blade on the tonic guillotine gives a really nice crisp cut on the wood veneer. So just, in case you were wondering how to cut it and get a nice clean cut, just use your tonic guillotine. It works awesome. And then I've gone ahead and die cut the deer, and I actually passed it through the machine at least twice to make sure I got a clean cut all the way through. And then I'll take those negative pieces and the die and set them aside so they don't get lost. I have a little dish that I keep on my work surface so I don't lose those bits and pieces. I can find them again and they don't get thrown away, because that sometimes happens when I'm busy and I'm in a hurry. So now I'm going to take a sentiment by memory box and go ahead and use my stamp positioning tool. This is a Stamp-A-Majig. It's my favorite stamp positioning tool. And I'm going to use it because instead of eyeballing, you know what happens when you eyeball. Sometimes you get it on there straight and sometimes you don't. Well, I can't afford to waste any of this wood veneer paper. So I'm using my Stamp-A-Majig to make sure I get it dead on accurate. And I'm going to nestle that corner of the tool against the positioning plate or the imaging plate, and then make sure that's set exactly where I want it. Then I can remove the plate and re-ink the stamp and then line that up right into the corner flush on my tool and go straight down and make sure I've got a crisp impression there. And I'm also using Coffee Bean Brilliance ink. I like using pigment ink when I stamp on wood veneer because the wood grain can make dye inks feather out and then you don't get as nice a crisp image. So I really like stamping with the pigment inks. And I'm going to make my own reinforcer. I had some scraps, and this is a great way to use your scraps and create more contrast. I'm just going to use some hole punches, my Crocodile and a 1/2-inch circle punch to make my own reinforcer there. And then I'm going to take the stag that I already die cut, and I'm going to color him very carefully with a Copic marker. Now I'm going to be very careful because he's very delicate on the antlers there, and I don't want to snag him and get his antlers bent. So I'm using a really pretty shade. This is burnt sienna, and I think it creates a really deep cherry finish on the stag there. And then I'm just going to glue these into place. Put my reinforcer there. Sorry, got my big candy apple head there in the way. I had to get directly overhead so I could see where I was putting it down. And then I'm going to put some adhesive over the back. Now I could have put a piece of cardstock with some adhesive on it, but I just decided to take a piece of Be Creative tape because I had a width that would work. And I'm just going to trim it to size, make sure that it fits there on the back of my tag. But you could use a piece of cardstock that's covered with adhesive, whatever works for you. But this is what I'm using because it was handy. And then I'm going to go ahead and take that stag, and I didn't remove the liner paper, so that's kind of crucial that you leave the liner paper in place there. And then go ahead and inlay the wooden stag there who's been stained with the Copic marker. He's going to fit right back in there just like a puzzle. It's so cool. And then I'm going to add that negative piece that I saved in my little dish and add some burlap twine. This kind of looks really rustic and in keeping with the wood veneer, I think. And it's going to give it a really nice overall finished effect. So we'll go ahead and get that tied into place. And then I'm going to 3D mount this. Now, one thing I noticed as I was putting these on, I noticed they started sliding around on me, and I realized that the Be Creative tape was acting as a resist to the adhesive on the foam dots. So I had to take those off, pull away the liner paper, and then put down some typing paper, or you could use a piece of cardstock, whatever, to cover all that adhesive on the back there. And then I could put my foam dots off, and they wouldn't put my foam dots on, and they wouldn't fall off on me. So now I'm going to go ahead and mount this tag and get them into place. And I had a pre-made wood grain embossed card already waiting for some other project, and I ended up not using it, so it was perfect for this. And I love all the different wood grain I've got going on here. And as one last finishing touch, and for a little bit more contrast and interest, I have these Studio Calico wood veneer snowflakes that I thought would be a fun accent and just add one more element to the wood design. And it was really hard. I was tempted to add more to this card, but I really wanted to keep it very natural looking, and I think I accomplished that with this, and I just love the end result. I think this would make a really nice masculine birthday card too. Thanks for watching.